was very nice of you to stay home and keep your aging father company this evening, Deborah. I hope you don't mind my saying that you're not very good company tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll go read a book or watch TV or something.
Well, you might do something even more constructive. You might even talk to me. Maybe tell me what it is that's bothering that pretty little head.
You wouldn't want to know.
I think I might be able to guess. Shall I?
I'd rather you wouldn't, Danny.
The Swami gazes, and as the mists slowly part, he sees... It's about your love life. Well, it usually is at your age.
I think I hear Danny coming in, and I think probably he'll be better company for you.
I sent him out to get the evening papers. I'm very curious about the Drake murder.
Well, then I will leave the room if that's all you're going to talk about. Still another murder.
Well, I got the late edition.
Oh, thank you, Danny. You're soaking wet.
You noticed.
Oh, well, that was very kind of you to get the papers, Danny.
No clue and Adam Drake murder. Practically nothing else in this paper but that.
Yeah, well, he was a very famous man, Danny, a popular hero. I assure you that the public is enjoying itself immensely this evening.
Enjoying? Daddy, that's disgusting.
No, Princess, that's just human nature. When the mighty fall, the not-so-mighty experience a deep sense of secret pleasure.
Well, I don't get no pleasure out of it. When people I talk to, they feel that Adam Drake was a dynamite guy.
Yeah? Well, sic transit gloria mundi, Danny.
I'll remember that.
Well, I think I'm going to go upstairs and wash my hair or paint my toenails or something pointless.
I'll get him. Saxon's residence? No, I don't know where she is. I think she's upstairs painting her toenails.
Who is he?
The law. Steve Guthrie, no doubt.
Look, Danny, find out if she'll talk to me. Tell her it's important, huh?
It's important. Come on. The guy wants to talk to you.
Okay, I came on too strong. Maybe it was your perfume.
Next time I'll wear something less alluring. Old mayonnaise or something.
Yeah, that's what I smell like right now. I had this bacon and lettuce sandwich. Hey, by the way, I'm still down at the restaurant. Why don't you join me? Have a cup of coffee, some dessert.
Oh, it's a little late, Steve, and it's raining outside.
Oh, come on, Deborah. It's a public place. You'll be very safe from my undesirable advances.
Talk that way. You make me sound like some Victorian prude.
Look, I'm really sorry about the last time. I guess I just didn't know what ballpark I was playing in, okay?
It's my fault. I overreacted. Look, if you really want me to meet you, I will.
Yeah, I would really like that, huh? I can use all the free time I can grab, especially now. You hear about the Drake murder?
That's all I've been hearing about.
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to talk shop. I just want to see you and mend the fence. Understand?
Yes, I understand. Tell me where you are. Yeah, I know the place. All right. I'll see you in about 20 minutes. Bye-bye.
Well, it sounds like you've given up on your old dad, Deborah.
Oh, Daddy, you don't mind, do you? You've got a nice, juicy murder mystery to read. Danny to share it with you.
Yeah, have a good time.
Oh, thank you.
Steve, my regards.
I will. Would you like me to give Steve your regards, too? I won't be back late. Goodbye.
So long.
Bye-bye. Did you read this, Danny? You read this hogwash?
What? No,
Did you read the police what I thought they're implying about the Drake case?
I haven't read that paper yet.
There's a definite hint that the police think that there's a connection of some sort between the murders of Bo and Adam Drake.
What?
Yeah, who wrote this trash? Kevin Jameson. Who else?
What are they thinking about? What does one thing got to do with the other?
They're suggesting that Adam Drake had some clue as to the identity of the Bo's true killer. And that he was murdered so that he wouldn't be able to reveal that clue. Ah, this isn't hogwash. This is whitewash. Police are doing everything they can to get Mike Carr off the hook. You know, maybe Drake did discover the truth. Maybe his own partner shot him to keep him from revealing it.
That's crazy. Mike Carr, turn around and they shoot Adam Drake?
My theory is just as reasonable as theirs, Danny.
Oh, come on, you gotta be nuts to think like that. You hate Mike Carr so much, you can't even think straight. That's your trouble.
I didn't realize I had any trouble, Danny.
I'm sorry, I'll keep my mouth shut.
You're just as bad company as Deborah was.
Well, maybe if you give me a little bit more work to do, maybe if you opened up the ace of clubs, let me work there, I'd feel like a human being again.
I'm sorry about that, Danny. It's just I'm afraid that the enterprise might not be successful. All the notoriety for the club, the place where Bo was murdered.
Could be terrific for the club. We could have a tour. We could show people, take a look at the office where Bo Richardson got himself shot to death.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's profitable, Danny. I mean, after all, we do have to be practical, don't we?
Yeah, we gotta be practical. It's a key word around here. The only thing that counts is money, right? Money!
Come on down here now, honey. Take a look around. See how you're gonna like living here.
I've seen this part of the house, Mrs. Yost.
Yeah, but you haven't seen it this way. You haven't seen it now that you know that it's gonna be your place, too.
It's not really mine.
Sure it is, Tracy. It's as much yours as it is anybody else who lives here. You can stay as long as you want, I told you that.
I know you did. But you also told me that the rent was only paid for 2 months, which means that's about as long as I'm going to be able to afford being here.
Well, you don't have to worry about that. Hey, you'll probably like the place so much you want to keep it.
What did this rent, Mrs. Yost? Didn't you say it was $500 a month or something?
Well, $475. But, Tracy, you got the use of the whole house. There's that nice little terrace out there, and you don't have to pay for gas or electricity, and, hey, it's a nice, safe neighborhood.
It really doesn't matter, Mrs. Yost. Even if it has swimming pool, I cannot afford the rent.
Tracy, a nice, smart girl like you can support herself just fine.
Not as a waitress, Mrs. Yost. And that's what I do for a living, remember?
Well, we'll see. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens, okay? You heard about opportunity knocking? Opportunity could be knocking at your door anytime. Who knows? Well, we don't have an air conditioner in this room, you know, but there's a real good one up in your bedroom. And that's where you need it. Not that it really gets hot here, you know. Actually, this room is nice and breezy. And kind of the cross ventilation, you know.
I'm sure it's going to be all right, Mrs. Yost.
Let's see now, you saw the kitchen. I guess you figured out I don't do much cooking in there.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to do it. At least until I can find another job in a restaurant where I can get free meals.
Honey, good-looking girl like you can find a nice gentleman to buy her a good meal.
Mrs. Yost. You know, I don't really think you believe that I'm not going back in the business. I have other plans for my future.
Listen, your future is your own business, honey. I don't want to interfere with it. Just want to tell you that, well, letting you stay here just because we're old friends. Aren't we?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, guess that's about all. I've already given you the key. All I can do now is wish you lots of luck and hope you're happy, honey.
Thank you. You've been very kind. Listen, Mrs. Yost, if there's anything I can do to help with chores around the house or anything...
Don't worry about that. Tracy, I I took the liberty of giving your name to a couple of gentlemen friends of mine. They may call you.
You did what?
Tracy, I said that there were no obligations, right? I just thought you might like somebody to buy you a decent meal once in a while. See what I mean?
Hey, come on, wake up, honey.
Oh, you're home.
Yeah, I was a little slow, so I figured I'd come home early.
Oh, I'm glad. You've been working too hard lately. You need some rest.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I'd come home to a little bit of domestic peace and tranquility, peace and quiet.
You want me to fix you something to eat?
No, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I guess you've already had that. The trouble with being married to a man who has a restaurant, you never get to have dinner together.
Oh. Lori, didn't you hear the baby crying, huh? The baby, you didn't hear him crying? Or have you gotten so used to the noises you don't notice it anymore?
I notice it. Sometimes I feel like crying more than he does.
Yeah, well, this time, he was doing the crying and you were doing the sleeping.
I was tired. I've been taking care of him all day. I mean, don't I have any rights around here? Don't I deserve any rest?
What I can't figure out is how can you be sleeping with all that racket? Sorry, honey, I didn't mean to jump on you like that. Must have had a rough day with the kid.
The only reason I could sleep at all was that I took these pills, and they make me so drowsy I can hardly hold my head up.
What pills? What are you talking?
Tranquilizers. Jean Pomeroy gave them to me.
Who the hell is Jean Pomeroy?
You know, she lives down the hall anyway. We were talking about things, and she told me she had these pills that would help me.
What, are you crazy? You take pills from somebody just because they live down the hall? What, is she a doctor or something?
No, she's not a doctor. She's a friend. Right now, I happen to need friends a lot more than doctors.
What's the matter? Don't you know that's dangerous?
People take tranquilizers every day. Millions of people do.
Yeah, with a prescription, maybe. They don't go down to the corner store and get $1 worth of pills. You know you could kill yourself and you wouldn't even know it?
I had to take something. I was a nervous wreck, okay?
What's the matter? The kid give you trouble? What?
No, it wasn't the kid. It was Adam. It was Adam being killed, or have you forgotten?
No, I haven't forgotten it. I guess he was a close friend of yours. You know him a long time.
Ever since I was a child.
I think this whole city's in mourning for that guy.
It isn't only that, Johnny. Or two. Adam was my father's only hope. He was going to help him. He was going to find the truth about who killed Bo Richardson.
Maybe he did. Maybe that's why he's dead.
Now we don't know any more than we did before he left. Johnny,
Look.
don't you see? My father has no chance now that Adam's dead of ever clearing himself, of proving that he's innocent.
Listen, honey. Your father is not going to go to jail. He's not going to be convicted. Certainly he's not going to be convicted for premeditated murder.
All right. So they send him to jail for the rest of his life? That's just as bad as being executed, if not worse. It's all over for us.
What do you mean it's all over for us? What are you talking about?
You know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean, and I wish you would explain yourself.
I am going to go to bed. I have to sleep this pill off, okay? Thank you.
Sure you're not hungry?
No, I already had dinner, thanks.
What'd you have? Pheasant under glass? The best thing I could recommend in this joint is a nice hamburger.
No, all I had was a chicken leg, actually. I didn't have much appetite.
Hey, was that my fault?
No. I want to apologize for the way I was carrying on the other night.
You know, you could really give a guy a complex. You know that? Gee, I thought I had everything all set. Nice, soft music, candlelight. Even had the martinis made. Gee, I must have done something wrong.
No. You did everything right. It would feel like you'd want to give up on me by now.
Hey, not a chance, not a chance. I have a lot of patience.
And if your patience isn't rewarded?
Why don't we just wait and see, okay?
I'm serious. What if you discovered that I just wasn't interested? Would you stop seeing me?
Why do you talk about it so much? You know you can put a jinx on it, talking about it so much?
You really believe that?
Sure, sometimes. You can talk something to death like that, especially between a man and a woman. I can't see sitting around having a nice, reasonable conversation about sex, especially with someone I like very much.
I think it's a good idea to talk about it openly, Steve.
Sure. We'll do that sometimes. Afterwards, okay? What, are you blushing?
No. I was just thinking.
Yeah, about what?
About how much sense we make.
I think we make a lot of sense.
Even after the other night?
Look, the other night was a little mismanagement on my part, huh? Bad timing, huh? Maybe you weren't in a very good mood. You know what I think? I think you're not quite the swinger you pretend to be.
No, I'm not a swinger, Steve. I'm not an angel, maybe, but I'm definitely not a swinger.
Hey, that's okay. That doesn't bother me. As a matter of fact, most of the women I know who claim to be swingers swing a little too far for me. Hey, look at me, Deborah. Look at me. You know something? It may be just as simple as this. Why, you're just an old-fashioned girl.
It may be a little bit worse than that.
What could be worse than that?
I just might be all wrong for you.
Now, why do you say that? You know I like you. You know how much I like you? Huh? Take a guess how much I like you.
I like you too, Steve, but maybe... Look, you better find yourself somebody else.
You know, something tells me that I've made another mistake. I saw everything turning out a little bit different, you know that? I saw the two of us sitting here, enjoying the atmosphere, holding hands, smelling the aroma of the hamburgers cooking, listening to the old orchestra. Come on, Deborah, don't look so damn dramatic.
Sorry, I'm depressed.
You're doing a very good job of depressing yourself and depressing me, too. I mean, especially when you say stuff like that.
Steve, you know why I said it? Look, I just can't be the kind of person you want me to be.
Now, how do you know what I want? You don't know me that well yet.
God, you know, sometimes I wish that there was something I could believe in. It seems like it could be a lot easier.
Is that your problem? Okay, I'll give you a solution to that. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you, Deborah Saxon, are one hell of a good person, and that you're entitled to every good thing on this earth. And that includes me.
Look, I'm trying to be serious. I don't want to mislead you, Steve.
Hey, you're not going to mislead me. Tell me what you want. What do you want? You want puppy love? All right, I'll give you puppy love.
I'm not being serious.
Oh, is that the key word? Serious? That's the key word? What do you want me to do? Guarantee you that if we start something, it's going to last forever?
No, I wouldn't ask you that.
Well, then ask something. Then ask something from me. sorry. I guess you're still not going to react any other way. With me.
I just need a little bit of time, Steve.
Oh, you mean the time will come when I can touch you and you're not going to punch me in the nose or scratch the back of my hands?
Look, I didn't punch you in the nose.
Don't worry about them. They'll heal. You know what?
What?
I just remember where I saw those scratches before. The scratches like that before. In the back of Bo Richardson's hands.
No, I wouldn't be able to sleep. Nicole knows by now what she must be going through.
In a way, it's lucky that she's in a hospital. At least they'll be able to do something for her.
But they won't be able to give her anything, will they? I mean, to help her sleep, to be calm, stay quiet. Because of the baby, she can't have any sedatives.
I'm sure they'll be able to help her in some way. They'll have to.
Yes, they'll have to, because the pregnancy is risky as it is.
We just have to put our faith in the Claremont Hospital. That's all there is to it.
You know, after I spoke to Dr. Kavanaugh, I really felt that he was going to handle it very well.
Nancy, it was the right thing to do. Not just because he's her doctor, but because he's there. You would have had to tell Nicole by telephone. That's a horribly impersonal way to break that kind of news.
I know. That's why it had to be done that way. She needed somebody near her. Oh, the poor woman. What's going to happen to her now?
Nancy, let's go to bed. Try to get as much sleep as we possibly can, and then tomorrow morning we'll get up early and drive out to the hospital.
Good. Yeah, I'd like that. I'll ask David's mother if she can keep an eye on Timmy if he should get home from school before we get back. I want to see Nicole soon. Hello? Mother? It's Lori. I hope I'm not calling too late.
No, of course not. Darling, how are you?
Mother, I hope this won't be a terrible imposition. I know you're very upset about everything. But could I please come over there right away, please?
What's going on?
Oh, she sounds hysterical.
Let me talk to her. Lori?
Daddy, please let me come over, please. I won't get in the way, I promise. You and Mother can just forget I'm there. I know you have to go see Nicole tomorrow.
What's going on? Have you and Johnny had another fight?
If you don't let me come over, I'll just go to a hotel. Would you prefer that?
I'd like to speak to Johnny, please.
Or you just want to hear the other side of the story, is that it?
Lori, would you put him on the phone, please?
All right, but I'll be on the extension.
Yeah, hello, Mike. Listen, I'm sorry about this. I'm sure you people have your problems over there, too.
Johnny, what's going on? Lori sounds in a very bad way.
Yeah, well, she's a little upset. We had a little argument over the baby, and I guess I yelled at her, and I apologize, but I guess she's still steamed up about it.
You said that I was a rotten mother. Listen, if you think it's so easy, you just stay home all day with the baby. You see what it's like to listen to him cry till you could scream.
Laurie, I would like to speak to Johnny privately.
Oh, Mike, listen, it's not just about the baby that Laurie's upset. She's really upset about Adam, too.
Yes, that's been a shock to all of us.
Yeah, I think it hit Laurie a little worse, though, because, well, she had some idea that Adam would have come up with something to help you beat this bum rap that somebody's trying to hang on you, you know.
Yes, I understand.
That was the one thing that kept her going. She figured Adam was going to come galloping in, dragging the murder of Bo Richardson by the neck.
She wasn't the only one who had that hope, Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Adam's dead, so I suppose she just can't take it, that's all.
Daddy, Adam was your only hope. He was going to help you. He was going to save you. Now who's going to help? Who's going to defend you?
Laurie, that is a separate problem. It's not even worth thinking about right now.
It's the worst thing that could have happened. You know that.
Yes, Laurie, it's the worst thing for a lot of people. But mostly Nicole. Think about her.
Well, yes, of course.
And think about your own family, Laurie. Your husband and your son. Now, you're not going to do them any good by running out and spending the night on our sofa.
No, I suppose not.
Laurie, please try to pull yourself together. This has been a rough night for everyone. The least we can do for each other is to try to keep our own emotions in check.
All right. I'm sorry that I bothered you. Say good night to Mother for me.
I will, Laurie. Good night.
Who's that?
Hey, it's Danny. He called, said he's going to stop over.
I can't see him right now. I don't want to see anybody.
Hey, Danny.
John, not butting in, am I?
No, come on in. Come on, buddy. Crazy.
Look, I know it's kind of late, but I'm a little bit upset about this Adam Drake murder. I thought maybe you might know a little bit more about it.
Hey, listen, I don't know any more about it than you do.
Well, I was thinking maybe your father-in-law might have talked to you to tell you what happened.
Well, I do know that somebody broke into Adam's office, pumped 3 bullets into him. That is, either before or after they took his wallet, so the paper said.
Yeah, the paper said there might be some connection between Adam Drake's death and Bo Richardson. I can't seem to figure that one out. I don't know how that works.
Well, now, Adam was out there trying to pick up a few facts, you know, about the murder of Bo, but then he got himself knocked off, so I figured maybe somebody tried to connect him, that's all. You still working for Tony Saxon, right?
Yeah, I'm still working.
Tell me something. What do you do for the guy?
Whatever he says. I light his cigars, I mix his drinks, I buy his newspapers, I rearrange his appointments, I do all the... That's okay, I know what you're thinking. So I'm a flunky, so what? What's the difference what I do as long as I make a buck, right? And I'm making more money now than I did when I was over at the Ace of Clubs. Can't knock that. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. How are you doing at the joint? You making money there?
Well, you can't make any money without making a problem here or there.
You got problems?
Yeah, Molly's leaving.
Molly O'Connor, why?
Well, she got a letter from her brother. He's pretty sick, apparently, so she figured she'd go over there and keep house for him, you know. So now I'm looking for a hostess.
Maybe you can give Tracy the promotion.
Well, Tracy doesn't work for me anymore either.
What?
And she quit. Yeah. She's having a pretty rough time trying to make it on her salary as a waitress, so, then you, stop paying for her rent.
Where is she? I mean, what is she doing?
Hey, come on, Danny. Don't you think it's a little late to be asking that question?
She quit just like that?
Yeah. Yeah, just like that. She was having a pretty rough time, trying to figure out where she was going, what she was going to do with her life, and...
Was she doing a lousy job?
Yeah, I guess she was. Dropping trays, forgetting the orders, all that stuff, the way she used to, Listen, I wouldn't have fired her. Believe me, I wouldn't. She just quit.
Well, she decided to find something a little bit more to her liking. Is that it?
Man, I don't know what kind of job she might have found.
Can you give me an educated guess?
Nope. Because I don't know.
Well, I guess you want to get to bed.
Hey, man, I'm not yawning.
I gotta go anyway. I got a lot of things to do.
What, at this hour?
John, when you're a flunky, you work night and day. See you later. Tracy, she wanted to make more money, huh? She was tired of being a poor waitress, so she wanted to better herself. Is that right?
Well, Danny, everybody tries to better themselves. Even you, huh?
How's she gonna do that? How's a girl like Tracy who never finished high school? How's she gonna do a thing like that? Don't answer that.
Love stories. It's all part of your business, Mrs. Yost. Hello?
Hello? Who's this?
Who would you like to speak to?
Is this Tracy?
Yes, who's this?
Well, I'm a friend of Mrs. Yost, Tracy, a very old friend. She told me to give you a call and see if you're okay.
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Well, I know it's a little late, but I was wondering if you'd like to come to a little party tonight.
No, thank you. I was just going to bed.
That's okay. You can do the same thing over here.
I'm sorry, but I'm not interested.
It's not a big party, honest. Just a couple of my business associates. Hey, you'll like them, no kidding. And from what Mrs. Yost told me, they'll like you.
I said I'm sorry. Good night. Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm your neighbor. Upstairs, right next door. My name's Inez. Mrs. Yost told me you were an old friend.
I used to know her in Chicago a long time ago.
Old friends are the best friends, aren't they?
I guess so.
Well, you certainly did the right thing. How much rent is she charging you?
What did you say your name was?
Inez. Inez Johnson. You still haven't told me yours. Mrs. Yost must have mentioned it to me, but I got a head full of holes.
My name is Tracy.
What's the rest of it? Oh, never mind. It's enough for me to remember Stacy.
No, Tracy, with a T.
Oh, you see what I mean? 2 seconds and I forget. Well, let me tell you something, Tracy. It is really great to have a neighbor besides Mrs. Yost. I mean, she's not that bad, but it's just... I could never really talk to her, you know? She's not interested in the same things I am.
Well, she's not your own age.
She says the same thing. She says the reason you and me could never talk, Inez, is because you're a lot older than me. That was like a joke.
Oh.
Well, I never got it either. What do you think she means, that I'm older than her?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, you could never shut her up. I mean, she is a real big talker. She goes on and on for hours without saying anything at all. I guess you must think I'm a big blabbermouth, too. It's just that I don't get much of a chance to talk to people my own age, you know? And it's just, well, Mrs. Yost doesn't like anything I like. Like music, for instance. Do you like music?
I love it.
Oh, dynamite. I really dig rock. Not hard rock, but like real nice beat. Hey, we could even have a party, couldn't we? I mean, once in a while.
But I don't think we should. I mean,
Oh, not that kind of party. No Johns or anything. Mrs. Yost wouldn't want us, using this joint for business reasons. We don't have Johns here, is what I mean.
Yeah, she told me.
Hey, listen. It is much better to travel anyway. You get a better class of John when it's their place. You should see some of the fancy hotels I've been to. But I guess you seem just as fancy.
Listen, Inez, I'm not in the business anymore. I mean, I'm a waitress.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. You mean you just sit around and wait until the phone rings? That's a good one.
Sorry. There was nothing I could say. I don't even...
Oh, look who's here.
Raven. Kevin, how are you?
I'm okay, Draper, sort of.
Oh, Kevin's all depressed. He's worried about that lawyer who got himself shot the other day. That's all he talked about all through dinner.
That's all I could think about during my dinner. You wrote this story, didn't you?
Yeah, I wrote it. I didn't exactly enjoy the assignment. I was just telling Raven what a great guy he was, how many things he'd done for the people.
Listen, don't make me sound so callous. I'm sorry the man got himself shot, but I didn't know him, and I don't see why I should let a whole dinner be ruined by the death of a stranger. Especially when I'm in such nice company.
Well, I'm my own company tonight, and I don't particularly enjoy it.
Oh, well, we could join the boy prosecutor for just a few minutes, couldn't we? Come on, sit down.
Raven, it is kind of late. You were just saying how tired you were and how you wanted to go home and get your beauty sleep.
Oh, come on, we can sit down for just a few minutes. We could have some coffee or a liqueur or something. That is, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
All right, but don't count on getting that drink. After midnight, all the waiters in this place turn into pumpkins.
Take the coffee. I haven't even started.
Oh, Draper, you're just as dumb as Kevin is, I can tell.
You knew Adam, didn't you?
Not as well as I knew his partner, Mike. Gee, Mike must be in a state of shock over this.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, we're not going to talk about that murder now, are we? What is it? With all the men I know in this town, all they care about is crime.
I have to care about crime, Raven. After all, I'm a crime reporter.
Kevin, there's something I wanted to ask you about your story. You seem to imply that the police are working on the assumption that there was some sort of connection between Adam's murder and the Richardson murder.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Listen, if you two are going to sit here and talk about one crime after another, I'm going to go home and just leave you two to talk.
Raven, will you please let me answer, Draper? Yes, Bill does think there's a connection. He thinks that Adam was killed because he knew something.
Meaning the identity of the real killer.
You know, it's all very exciting, but I think you're letting your imagination run away with you.
It's not my theory. It happens to be Bill Marceau's.
Well, if the chief of police thinks that Mike Carr is innocent, why did he arrest him in the first place? You know, the whole thing doesn't make any sense at all.
Doesn't make any sense to me either. Nor does it make any sense why Bill was spreading his opinions around the way he is.
Some people are worried about that. He's sure making his feelings known.
Yeah, if he doesn't watch out, he's going to get canned.
Well, then why did you write the story about him,
I didn't have any choice. Bill insisted that item be included in the article.
Chief feels that Mike is innocent, and he's going to keep saying it, even if it means his job.
You know, it's very indiscreet.
You believe Mike is innocent too, don't you, Kevin? I mean, whether you realize it or not, that belief comes through in every story you've ever written about him.
Well, maybe I'll lose my job, too. After all, a reporter's supposed to be objective.
And what about me? I'm supposed to be more than objective. I'm supposed to be downright belligerent when I prosecute the man. If they ever set a date for the trial. That's why I came out tonight by myself. Just me and the newspapers. I'm sitting here trying to decide what I should do. And I have decided.
Draper, You're not going to do anything foolish now. Remember what you did just before the assassin trolley.
It might be foolish. All I know is that I am not going to prosecute Mike Carr.
What? Have they taken you off the case?
I've taken myself off the case. I can't try to send a man to jail when I know he's innocent.
Oh.
I don't think so. I'm sure she intended to stay home.
I just couldn't believe what I'd heard. And then all the way here, on the radio, the things they were saying about it. Oh, you know what? Terrible pain. Nancy, I'm so afraid it's the baby. I'm so afraid I'm going to lose the baby.
I'll call a doctor.
No.
I don't think so. I'm sure she intended to stay home.
what I'd heard. And then all the way here, on the radio, the things they were saying about it. Oh, you know what? Terrible pain. I feel so afraid it's the baby. I'm so afraid I'm going to lose the baby.
I'll call a doctor.
No.
No, Sergeant, I am not simply reporting a stolen car. It's the last thing in the world I want some state trooper to come bearing down on Mrs. Drake with this siren scream. All right, no, I guess there isn't. But what concerns me is what happens after she is stopped. She isn't well. No, that doesn't matter. All that matters is that she be treated as gently as possible if and when you do stop her. Do you want a clinical report? Is that it, Sergeant?
Tell her she's pregnant.
She's 4 months pregnant, all right? But her health is very shaky. So is her emotional condition. She just lost her husband.
Well, then tell him who he was.
Quiet. Listen, Sergeant, if it matters, the woman is the wife. The woman is the widow of Adam Drake. I'm sure you've heard what just happened to him. No, she's been at Claremont for some time. Right now, she's on the road somewhere, probably on the way to Monticello. She borrowed my wife's car.
Oh, why don't they liberate her?
Yes, the car was taken without permission. She was hysterical. She just heard about her husband. Yes, the keys were in the ignition.
Well, I hardly expected one of your genteel lady patients to turn car thief. It's rotten
Yes.
even for you, Denise.
Yes, that's right. Yellow coupe, 77. That's right. What's the license number, Denise?
DLC 889.
DLC 889. Yes. Thank you, Sergeant. Right here at the same number. Yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you very much. Good night.
Well, what did he say, Miles? Does he think he'll find her?
Yeah, I think so. She hasn't already made it to Monticello.
I told you should have called the police an hour ago, but no, you had to be stubborn. Well, I still wish you hadn't called at all. Miles, they're going to scare her half to death, you know that? And then there might be an accident.
At least there hasn't been any accident reported yet. We know that much.
But in the state Nicole is in, anything can happen. She might drive that car right off the road.
Please, darling. Not that car. My car.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was pointless. I mean, as soon as I got into that car and heard the news...
Oh, please. No, Nicole, lean back. Please try to stay calm.
This is on the way.
All I wanted to hear was the truth. I mean, all I wanted to hear was that it was a mistake. A horrible mistake, and that Adam was all I wanted to hear was a lie!
The ambulance won't arrive for at least 10 minutes. I think it would be a lot better if you were upstairs in our bedroom.
I'm sorry. I really do feel... I feel better. Now, the pains aren't so bad, Mike.
I agree with Mike. Nicole, really, you should be lying down.
To tell you the truth, I think I feel better just sitting like this. Mike, I want to know what happened.
I wish I knew more than I do.
Miles told me that Adam had been shot at the office.
Miles?
Dr. Kavanaugh, he said a man had come into the office and shot Adam, and he didn't know why.
Nicole, apparently it was a robbery.
A robbery? Oh, no, I can't accept that. Not anything so stupid and so pointless. I can't accept that about Adam's death.
We honestly don't know, Nicole. We can only speculate.
It just mustn't be anything so pointless, Mike.
I wish that ambulance would get here.
Well, I've called them twice. The second time I called, it was already on its way. Oh, and I did call Dr. Lacey. I thought he should be aware of what's happening.
Well, now, what about an obstetrician? No, look, it's okay. There's really no reason to call anyone at all because there is nothing anyone can do. If I'm going to lose the baby, I'm going to lose the baby.
Don't say that, Nicole. Please, you're not going to lose the baby.
I'm sorry. It's just that there's so little that anyone can do for me. Now, the doctors at Claremont have told me the same thing.
You know,
I'm not as sure of those doctors as I had been. I mean, how could... Alone.
I don't understand that either. Why did they permit it? They must have realized how risky it was.
It's just that I wanted to be with you both, with someone who was close to us.
Mike, did Dr. Lacey say he was coming?
I couldn't reach him, but I left a message with his answering service.
Do you know I knew something was wrong when he didn't call me tonight? I mean, you had said to me that he was going to call me as soon as he got to the office. See, the thing that I realized is that I never spoke to him. I mean, he's been gone all this time, and I never spoke to him. Not once.
Nicole, I think you know why that was so.
Sure. Adam was all playing detective. Just like the little boy he always was, always keeping everything to himself, never telling anyone what he was doing, waiting for the one moment when he could spring his great... Mike, you never told me. Did Adam find out anything?
We don't know.
Oh, Mike, come on. He must have told you something when he called from the airport, where he was, what he was doing, what he'd learned.
He was going to talk to me. He's going to tell me everything tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Really, I think we ought to stop talking about this right now.
No, I want to talk about it now. It's very important for you to tell me what Adam said when he called from the airport exactly.
Very little, Nicole. Just that he was tired, that he was heading straight for the office, and that he would call you from there.
Oh, Mike, come on. He must have said something about the murder. He must have said something about it.
No, he didn't. When the police examined his office, his attaché case was empty, and apparently his papers had been stolen.
Papers stolen? Paper. Why would his papers be stolen if it was just an ordinary robbery?
Thank God.
Now, don't fuss with me, Geraldine. I know how you feel about medication of any kind, but these won't hurt you in the least.
Kevin, I told you not to call this man, that all he would do is push pills down my throat.
I didn't call Dr. Lacey, Geraldine. I just happened to be speaking to him, and I mentioned you weren't feeling very well, that you'd reacted to the news rather badly.
Reacted badly? How was I supposed to take this terrible thing?
I was just as shocked as you, I assure you. There's no such thing as becoming inured to news of sudden death, not even for a doctor.
I just simply can't believe it. It was like hearing about Cullen and Gordon dying in that boating accident. Just the terrible unpreparedness.
It was my fault. I broke the news rather crudely.
No, Kevin, it wasn't your fault. There was no other way to tell me. It's just that it came as such a terrible shock. I thought a great deal of Adam. He was not only my attorney, Hugh, he was my friend. And then when Kevin told me about his murder, it was murder, apparently.
It's the news I heard. But maybe Kevin knows something more than that.
I don't know any more than you do. He was shot 3 times while working in his office.
Working so late at night?
Well, he'd been out of town, and the first place he went to when he got back was his office. Evidently, someone was in there already, or someone managed to get in somehow.
Thief, I gather, but why pick a lawyer's office to rob? I can understand them getting into my place. In fact, they've tried it a couple of times already, because of the drugs, of course.
I just couldn't help reacting the way I did when Kevin told me. He was a fine man, Hugh. Why, Adam Drake was something of an institution in this city. He was a fine man with still so much left to do in this world.
Yes, he had so much left to do. And I'm sure that a lot of it won't get done. Because he's dead.
was very kind of you to come. But there's no need for you to stay any longer. I'm sure you have better things to do with your evening than hold the hand of an old woman with the vapors.
I wish that you'd stop calling yourself an old woman, especially since it isn't true.
I've tried to change Geraldine's opinion of herself, but you know Geraldine.
Maybe you haven't tried hard enough.
Oh, I have. I even invited her to double date on a couple of occasions, but she says she doesn't know any eligible men. I thought maybe next time I'd call you, Dr. Lacey.
Oh, yes, and he'll probably bring along his famous pills.
Speaking of which, you haven't taken these yet.
Oh, all right, Hugh, all right.
Yeah, that wasn't so difficult, was it? Now, I wonder if you'd mind if I use your phone to check with my answering service just to make sure no one else has the vapors tonight.
What in the world are the vapors?
It's an old Victorian expression, Kevin. Very popular with delicate ladies once upon a time.
Oh, well, that's not your era, Geraldine, and you can stop pretending that it is.
Excuse me.
Kevin, there's no need for you to stay home this evening. I'm sure you have other plans, too.
No, I have no plans, really.
What about Raven? I haven't seen her since breakfast.
Oh, she's out tonight with the girls.
What girls?
She ran into a couple of old friends from college and decided to go out and have a drink.
Well, perhaps you can join her afterwards.
No, I'm staying home tonight. Not because of you, Geraldine. Not only because of that, but, well, when a story like this breaks, there's got to be a lot of press coverage.
Kevin, it's dreadful. The fact you're going to have to write about this terrible thing. I'm sorry. I just don't think I'll be able to read what you write. You'll have to forgive me.
Well, it looks like I'll need your permission to make another call. My car left a message with my service.
My car? Don't tell me there's something wrong there.
I have no idea.
Well, please make your call here, Hugh. And don't mind an eavesdropper.
Hello, Nancy.
Yes. Oh, Dr. Lacey. Dr. Lacey, thank you so much for calling back.
I'm so sorry to have heard the news about Adam. I'm sure it's been a terrible blow to you both.
It has. Yes, it has, Doctor. Doctor, we wanted to talk to you about Nicole Drake.
Well, she's in a hospital now, isn't she?
No. I mean, she isn't right now. That's why I'm calling, because right now we have two doctors from Monticello General upstairs.
What do you mean? Is Nicole there?
Yes, she is. They let her leave the hospital. I really think it was terribly unwise of them, but in any event, she's here, and she isn't feeling too well, Doctor. She's afraid that she's going to lose the baby.
Oh, has she?
No, nothing has happened yet, anyway, but the doctors, they don't want her to move around, so she's in bed right now.
Is there anybody there I could speak to about her condition? No, never mind. I think the best thing for me to do is to get right over there myself.
Would you do that, please? I'm sure Nicole would feel much better knowing you're coming over.
You can tell her I'm on my way, Nancy. Goodbye. Nicole Drake is in Monticello. She's at the Cars place. I just have to get over there and take a look at her. If you'll excuse me, Geraldine. You get some rest now. Good night, Kevin.
Good night, Dr. Lacey. Thanks for dropping by.
So long.
There must be something we can do besides sit here and wait.
We'll hear something soon, April, I'm sure.
Something awful, maybe. Bob, aren't you upset?
I'm upset. The woman's my patient. She can only do herself harm by this.
I hope you realize how much your fault it is. I mean, there's just been no security to Claremont. There hasn't been for years.
This isn't a prison, Denise. It's a hospital.
Well, I know that very well, but I mean, sick people aren't able to take care of themselves. That's the reason why we have doctors and nurses, not just to treat them, but to discipline them as well.
Well, no, you're serious, Denise.
I am sure that Miles agrees with me deep down. I mean, after all, Miles, isn't this a perfect example? I mean, a woman in an unstable condition can get up, get dressed, just walk out of the hospital, whip off in somebody else's...
I didn't make the rules around here, Denise. It's the board of directors who decided on this hotel atmosphere.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. This is the first thing like this that's ever happened, isn't it, Miles?
I don't know what you want us to do, Denise. Maybe we should chain the patients to the beds and burn all their street clothes. Is that it?
Nicole would have run away in her nightgown anyway.
Well, at least that would be entertaining for the state trooper, who I'm sure is going to catch her up with it pretty soon. I mean, I imagine she's pretty beguiling in a nightgown. How about that, Miles? Speaking of a nightgown, April, don't you think it's time that you were in bed?
It's true, April. You're not doing yourself any good by staying up this late.
Well, I'm not going anywhere until we hear something. Not. I don't care if I have to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not
April?
sleeping.
Miles, are you all right? Hey.
I'm all right.
Far from all right. Now I'm going to insist you come to bed. Come
No, Miles, please wait until we hear.
I will make sure you know everything that's happening just as soon as I make sure you're safely tucked in for the night. Now, come on.
Go on. He's right.
Stay by the phone with you, Denise?
Sure. April, I'm sorry, darling. I do hope your friend is all right. Really. All alone by the telephone.
I'm awfully glad I didn't have to go to that hospital.
But they did say the best thing for you to do was to remain as quiet as possible.
And Dr. Lacey will agree to that, I'm sure, when he gets here.
Is Dr. Lacey coming?
Yes, he called a little while ago. Not that he can do anything, but he does want to see you.
That'll be nice.
Nicole, are the pains lessening?
Almost gone, I think. Worst is over. At least as far as the baby's concerned.
Probably Macy.
But, Mike, I'm not so really sure I want to see Dr. Lacey. After all, I'm very tired, and I think I've been examined enough for one night.
Oh, Nicole, please, won't you see him? After all, he was your doctor at one time.
I'll let him in.
That's funny. I mean, about how some people are always going to the doctor. And then some people, they don't like to go to the doctor at all. Adam was like that. I mean, he only go to the doctor if it was something drastic. Otherwise, I'd have to drag him there. So stubborn. Just like a little boy. Isn't that funny? Now, that's the second time tonight I've called Adam a little boy. Whew. He'd hate that. Hated to be mothered in any way at all. Oh, boy. And how I longed to do it. To just hold him in my arms and stroke his hair. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be talking about Adam at all.
Of course you should. You should and you must. Dr. Lacey, hello.
Nicole. I'm so sorry to have heard about Adam.
Thanks, Doc.
Dr. Lacey just wants to do a simple examination, Nicole.
Well, those interns from the hospital probably bothered you enough already, I suppose, so I guess that's a guarantee that's in order. Are you in pain now?
No, I'm okay. No pain inside or out. All's quiet, silent.
We'll leave you for a little while, all right?
Just for a few minutes, Nancy, if you don't mind. All I want to do is take your blood pressure, Nicole, then maybe listen to you for a minute or two. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind. I'm used to it. Oh, am I used to it? I've been at Claremont for over 4 weeks now.
Well, I hope those people know what they're doing at Claremont. It just doesn't seem very wise to me to let patients leave all by themselves.
Oh, they didn't let me leave. In fact, I'm not even sure they know I'm gone.
Oh?
Mike, can I get you anything? Something hot to drink?
No thanks, Nancy.
Oh, by the way, I talked to Shelley Benson a little while ago. I told her that Nicole was staying over, and I asked if Timmy he could spend the night over there, and she said fine, so I bundled him up and I brought him over.
That was a good idea.
Dr. Lacey, how is Nicole?
She's, quiet at least. That's a blessing in itself. As far as the baby's concerned, well, I'm not an OB and I can't guarantee that she's past the danger of losing the child. But my guess is that her condition is stable.
Would you want us to call a specialist?
Well, my advice would be to call her own doctor, the one at the Claremont Hospital.
Oh, that's so far away, you couldn't possibly get down here.
What I mean is, I'd call the man and let him know where Nicole is. I think he'd be very grateful for the information.
What are you talking about? I'm sure Nicole told him where she was going.
No, Mike, she wasn't permitted to leave the hospital. She left without permission. And as a matter of fact, she took that car outside without permission. She still doesn't know who it belongs to.
I'd better make that call right now.
Good.
Dr. Lacey, let me get you a cup of coffee.
I'd love that.
Now, what is it that Nicole...
Well, apparently...
Hello, Dr. Kavanaugh's office.
This is Mike Carr. I'm a friend of Nicole Drake's, and I want to let Dr. Kavanaugh know that Mrs. Drake is here in Monticello at our home right now.
Oh, she is? Well, is she all right?
Well, she's been examined by a physician, and she appears to be all right, but I thought Dr. Kavanaugh should know about the situation. He might even want to make arrangements to see her himself.
Yes. Unfortunately, the doctor is not here at the moment.
Do you expect him shortly?
No, look, I'm awfully sorry. He's left the hospital for the night. I'm very sorry.
Stay right here for the rest of the night. Is that clear?
I'm not going to sleep, Miles. I'm not going to go to sleep until I know that Nicole's all right.
Now, listen, I told you that whatever I heard, I would let you know when I hear it. I may not hear anything at all tonight, so don't use that as an excuse for staying awake until morning.
But you've got to hear something, Miles. The police are bound to find her.
Really? You called them?
Yeah, I called them.
Well, she did steal Mrs. Kavanaugh's car, I guess.
Not the reason I called them. Look, Carol, would you stay with April for a few minutes? She had a little dizzy spell in my office.
Yes, of course.
You just want to keep me prisoner. That's the real reason.
April, don't be silly.
Oh, you make a perfect jailer, Carol. All you need is a bunch of keys hanging out of your pocket.
Don't pay any attention to her. Just stay here for about a half hour. I'll stop by in a few minutes, see if she needs anything to help her sleep.
I won't take anything, Miles. Not until I know Nicole is all right.
Don't worry, Doctor. I will be a very good jailer, even without my keys.
Miles?
Yeah.
You don't think anything's happened to Nicole, do you? I mean, anything tragic?
No, I think we would have heard from the police. In all probability, she's in Monticello among her friends. Maybe we'll hear something soon.
Well, yes, I do have his home number, but I'm afraid that isn't going to do any good either. He's simply going to have to get back to you in the morning.
At first, we didn't realize that Mrs. Drake had left the hospital without permission. We assumed that Dr. Kavanaugh had allowed her to leave because of the death of her husband.
Well, no, I'm afraid Mrs. Drake simply ran away. In fact, she's driving, well, shall we say, a borrowed car. Did she tell you that?
Yes, we just found that out. Do you have any idea whose car it is? I haven't checked the registration.
As a matter of fact, it's mine.
Oh, I see. To whom am I speaking?
Well, this is Mrs. Miles Kavanaugh, Mr. Carr. I had stopped by the hospital to pick up my husband, and while I was inside, Mrs. Drake came out and appropriated the car. Unfortunately, I have a bad habit of leaving the keys in the ignition.
I see.
Not that I blame the poor woman. For heaven's sake, she was obviously totally distraught.
Yes, she was. And for a while, we were afraid she might lose the baby. Fortunately, that hasn't happened.
I'm very glad.
Mrs. Kavanaugh, if there's anything I can do to see that your car is returned, I'll be very glad to help.
Oh, no, that's not necessary. I'll talk to Miles about it. I'm sure he'll know what to do. In fact, he's already told the police about it, so.
The police? I don't see the necessity of that.
Oh, no, don't misunderstand. understand me. He was simply worried that Mrs. Drake might hurt herself. He's very, very concerned about Mrs. Drake.
Yes. Well, when you do see your husband, Mrs. Cavanaugh, would you ask him to call me, please?
Yes, of course. And would you please tell Mrs. Drake how very sorry I am? I've only met the woman once, but it was plain that she's a lovely person. And, well, this is just such an unspeakable thing to have happened.
Yes. I'll tell her. Good night, Mrs. Cavanaugh.
Mrs. Cavanaugh.
That's right. It was her car that Nicole borrowed to get here. Strange, though.
What is it?
She said that Dr. Cavanaugh left the hospital, presumably to go home. And in that case, why is his wife still there? Oh, well, doesn't matter.
Mike, your wife was kind enough to give me a cup of coffee in the kitchen, but I think now I better get along. As I said, I don't think there's any danger to Nicole or the baby. That's not a guarantee, of course.
Well, apparently Dr. Cavanaugh wasn't worried enough to hang around the hospital. But maybe I'm just being unfair. At least they know where she is now.
There's just one thing. I wouldn't recommend moving her for at least 24 hours. After that, I suppose the hospital would be the best place for her.
Oh, we have no intention of letting her budge.
I have to move right along now, since there's nothing more I can do here. Although I could prescribe something for you, Nancy.
Oh, no, please. I'm perfectly all right.
She's perfectly exhausted, Doctor, if you want the truth. The news about Adam has left us all in a state of shock.
Well, it's a terribly difficult thing to accept. Life like Adam Drake's being suddenly snuffed out. It hit Geraldine very hard, I can tell you.
Oh? Have you been in touch with her?
And Kevin called me and told me Geraldine almost collapsed when she heard the news of Adam's death. That woman has heard that sort of news far too often in her lifetime. Well, you try to get some rest if you can, Nancy. Those are doctor's orders.
I'll try, Doctor. Thank you.
Good night, Mike.
Good night, Doctor. And thank you.